Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new Let's Play on Tyranny. Now, this game is basically like Pillars of Eternity, but the game that came after. It's nothing to do with Pillars of Eternity, unlike Pillars of Eternity 2. But it is made by the same studio, Obsidian Entertainment, and it is published by Paradox, and it's a great game. And I have played it before, but I never got to finish it due to my computer having quite a few problems. And dying around that time, and I lost all my saves, and at the time I just never felt like doing it again. But I finally got back into it. As you guys probably know, watching my Pillars of Eternity, I've been talking about playing that I was playing Tyranny. And there's two expansions. There's Tales of the Tears and the Bastard's Wound. So I got those, and we're going to be starting a Let's Play of the game. So let's get into it. We're going to be playing just a normal game. I haven't, like I said, I haven't actually finished the game, so I don't know any of the special stuff. I'm just like completely, as far as I can remember certain things, and I've played about 5 hours into it since like in the actual game. But we're going to be playing different from my normal play style. I'm going to be doing a mix of my kind of normal, but definitely different. And we're going to be running through the conquest, which is the how you set up your character's background in the conquest of the tiers. But I'm going to be quiet until then and let you guys watch this.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kyros the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kyros' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spy master and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kyros' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kyros' minions. Tunon brings Kyros' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of fatebinders when Kyros' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Alright, so let's get to designing the character. So we're going to be... Nope, we actually had the right body types. This is going to be our basic body types. So we're going to be reading each of these roles all the way through. So in the Northern Empire, where you were born, men enjoy equal protection under the laws of the Overlord Kyros. In the Summerlands of the Tiers, only men may own or captain ships, but real estate is restricted to women. Men may lease, but durable ownership of the land in the Tiers always passes to the eldest daughter or sister. Most sons enter their father's profession by their mid-teens. Those without a profession or family lands to work can find purpose by pledging service to one of the Overlord's mighty Archons. Criminals, derelicts, and others are often conscripted into the armies of the Archons. If a child cannot forge his own skein, he will certainly find one in battle. So this is going to be our guy, so let's get going. Let's keep going. So, I really don't change much about this look. All I really do is add one of a few beards. Like sometimes I had this big ass beard. So I mean I have had a Mutton Chops playthrough. I think he looks. It don't look the best, but I think this is my favorite beard. This or just that, but I prefer this. We're gonna have tattoos as well because I do like. I always like to have these tattoos. Actually. Black with a hint of purple, or nah, black with a hint of Black with a hint of grey looks like, you know, we're just going to go black, full black. And now we're going to pick our picture. Now, we should be able to change this, if I remember correctly, throughout the game, if we ever feel like changing it. I probably... Oh, yeah, no, we most certainly can. Yeah, I can, because I did in mine. So I'm just going to pick one that looks cool. I'm not going to really pick one that's denoting what our character is, because, I mean, I haven't really... Well, I've decided what my character is going to be. I just haven't decided if, like, how close I'm going to keep to it. We'll see. Just got to get one that at least looks somewhat like what we're doing. We'll go with this guy. I mean, he looks nothing like that, but it's just a picture, so we'll go with that. So, history. So how did you join Kyros' army? I was a war mage. Few have the combination of wits and courage to be accomplished casters and warriors, and those cursed with such a combination of talents are invariably pulled from the murderous mundane lives and assigned to the armies of the Archons. Your eldest memories are a painful slog of training, study, lecture, and exhaustion, all the elements of being groomed for battle. You knew better than to ask what became of your family, nor to question the missives allegedly penned by their hand that were part of your earliest memories in reading. When you reached the old altar, Tunon, the adjudicator, came to the barracks and laid claim to your life. Seeing you as too valuable for the crucible of battle, the Archon of Justice deemed your life better spent dedicated to the art of punitive legal remedies. Though you had much to learn in matters of civil discourse, none could deny your bright future as Tunon's next great enforcer. So my primary expertise, we're going to be going with shock spells. I should have actually read that before, so let's click off that. As one of Tunon's fatebinders, you receive training in the arts of war, the intrigue of magic, and the inexhaustible depths of Kyros' lore. Across the Northern Empire, the education of a fatebinder is second to none. Those bearing the title are expected to read instructions and understand the economics of the realms in which they operate. Literacy and mathematics, skills rarely found on Terratus, are essential skills in the execution of law. Subtler talents like speechcraft or tactics are honed with time and experience under Tunon's guidance. So yes, we're going to go with shock spells. So basically, this character is going to be a war mage, but he's going to be more of a sly. He's going to be like an assassin mage more than anything. So normally I normally go for, if I'm playing this game, I go for I'll either go for dual wielding first or sword and shield first, and then I go for spear and shield. The class that I was pissing about with my class that I'm playing as is a sword and shield user, and yeah, it's actually really fun. But we're going to be going for shock spells. We do get really nice clothes as well, and you get to see the tattoos. But we learn charged fist. Mages skilled in shock magic can frequently interrupt their enemies, preventing them from executing their attacks. Now we're going for shock because I want to be I want to be a pure damaging mage, and so I can have a healer later on, or if we can get one. So secondary expertise. Believing that all of his agents should be well-rounded, Tunon ordered that you receive training in a secondary combat style. Fatebinders are often deployed into treacherous circumstances, and one's ability to adapt to unexpected changes, like sudden violence or illegal entanglement, can represent the difference between life and death. And we're going to be going dual wield. Now the difference between the two dual wields are, this dual wield is sword and shield. Sword and dagger, which is what I prefer. Because this obviously is what the weapons you're going to be given. Now we could have gone for shock spells again and got some more stuff, so basically when you double spec, you basically just get more abilities in that specific field. We could go for war mace, which is a two-handed mace, short bow, which obviously you've already seen, javelin, which is essentially a short spear you can throw, spear and shield, which is one of my favorite combinations, if I'm honest. Unarmed, which is like the monk way of doing it. You could get a different spell, like a spell. And I believe short bow was already there, but we're going to be going dual wielding, like I said. Now this may change later on. Through the game, I'll probably pick different weapon choices up. Maybe go sword and shield, but I'm going to be primarily the damage dealer of the group we're going to be getting together, because I'm normally a tank. I must admit, I think Pillars of Eternity is the first time I've not played a slightly tanky role. Like in Dragon Age, I played a tank, or at least a sort of tank. So anyway, we're going to be going with Flurry of Blows for our attacks with this. And wielding two weapons gives you the advantage of versatility, as each weapon can deal different types of damage. It's very true. So this is our character, and we're gonna. My color scheme I want to go for is going to be this: purple and white. So a main of purple and a dull of white, and our actual sigil is going to be this. It's going to look like this, and it's going to be. I've already decided my sigil. It's going to be this. Because this is the character I was mocking up on my for this let's play that I've decided to do. Under a name. Now names, I haven't actually got a name, but I was thinking Rome, like a Roman-esque type name. Actually, no. Let's just try and find a Roman name. I really should have prepared a little better for this, but. Let's have a quick look. That's a Roman name generator. Just because, why not? Okay, that one. I like that one. So we're going to be calling ourselves Galerius. Weird name, but I mean, I like the weirdness to it. Let's put my phone back where it should be. There we go. So, Galerius is our name. Attributes. Well, quickness is how quickly you can do spells. Finesse is, and wits. So we want at least 3 in wits. We want 4 here and 1 in finesse. Because we're going to be using quite a few spells, and quickness, we want to be able to use our abilities regularly. So that's how we're going to do that. Now, we want our dual wield up. We want magic staff. We're not going to be using a staff ever. Athletics we want up because just athletics is really useful. Lore up to 35, and you know what, let's get dual wield up to 35 as well, because that's going to be our main. Do you know what, I'm going to get even more lore, because right now lore is my primary. Going to be like, we're going to need that to learn new spells. So we can dual wield, we can get up in battle. Lore, we can get. I mean, we can get all these up in different situations, but it's definitely better to be high lore, I'd say, early on. And athletics of 30 is just, I like to have high athletics because I like my characters to be very vicious. And as an assassin, having high athletics will definitely help. And, right, so this is, how do you want to continue? So by selecting the conquest option will allow you to play through Kyros' Conquest of the Tears, choosing how your character was involved in the invasion. This gives you the most control of the starting state of the game and how other factions will react to your character. That's what we're going to be doing.
All the world has fallen to Kyros, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kyros' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kyros a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kyros' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Right. So this, ladies and gentlemen, this first part will be seeing how long this takes. Will be until once we get into the game. That is when we'll end this part. Anyway, during the conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kyros' invasion, invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. Now, I will say, when any game says decisions matters, some of them may lie, but Tyranny is one of the few that really, like, every decision you make really does matter in some way. Like, it may not be the most amazing way, but it definitely does matter. Anyway, the Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kyros' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbour at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the centre of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kyros' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kyros' army. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kyros' will is insurmountable. So, if you guys have played this game, you're given. If you haven't, you're given 2 options every single one of these. And basically, we just give 2 options, and there's different ways to accomplish this. So, because we're assassin, we're going to be doing the infiltrate the Tears. So, history would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with an advanced unit of both armies preparing for coming war. The Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? Now, I'm not going to lie, I very much do favour the Disciplined, but there will be sometimes I select the Chorus. But we're going to read both of these anyway, which is why this is going to be a very long part. So we could say you lent your skills to the elite Disfavored scouts to capture a border garrison. Graven Ash insisted that an early victory in the offensive would boost the morale of his troops and diminish the haughty overconfidence of the Southerners. Or we could go the Scarlet Chorus, which would be you joined the Scarlet Chorus as they raided villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man and woman into the army. The voices of Narat emphasized the rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed. Apparently his soldiers needed the reminder, but we're going to be going with the Disfavored because I want subtlety to be my character's calling card. As much as I want him to be very aggressive, I do want him to have a great air of subtlety to him. The Oathbound Scout identified a modest border defense and collaborated on an organized attack that would leave the enemy uncoordinated and cut off from aid. You oversaw the preparations offered your opinions on the strategy. When the clashing of the swords and spears fell to silence, followed by the change of favored scouts, you were the least surprised. So the next two. Inside Agent, or Containing the Fire. Inside Agent. With the border garrison captured by your disfavored allies, you travelled ahead of Kyros' army and lurked in the shadows of the bastard city. You decided that converting one of the locals to Kyros' side would help bring the city to its knees. After all, corruption starts from within. So the Disfavored would have us. You enlisted a bitter captain of the guard to sell military secrets to the Disfavored. Better that Kyros' force march to the next inevitable victory well informed. Or, you came to an arrangement with a well-connected smuggler who knew how to sneak agents of Scarlet Chorus behind the city walls. The Scarlet Chorus were better operatives than soldiers, and this work required a subtle touch. Now we're going to begin again. The Disfavored of this makes more sense for our character. Subtlety. This isn't very subtle. This is definitely more subtle. The captain of the guard was of a mind that the bastard city was corrupt and deserving of better leadership. You did nothing to convince him otherwise. After taking your promises of stature and security to heart, he offered you a list of valuable assets, from weakened stones in the rampart to the state of the siege provisions, capping it off with a list of city officials whose loyalty could likewise be turned to support your cause. Betrayal of the Bastard City. Your tactics of infiltration placed you within the Bastard City ahead of the main armies. Your work softened the city defenses for the arrival of Kyros' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies a meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? So we could go with this one. You challenged the commander of the Bastard City's defense to an honorable fight to the death. The Disfavored wished to spare soldiers' lives to the battles ahead and civilian lives for occupation. Could go with these guys, which gives us a cool fire magic. Spreading the word of Kyros, you converted the poor and disaffected into a hidden army of the Scarlet Chorus. Once the dust settled, the army wished to bolster their troops within these sleeper cells. Or, keeping to the shadows, you eliminated the leaders of the Bastard City one by one. I actually do like this because concealing shadow is actually pretty cool. And so yeah, we're going to be doing this. Some deaths were quiet and unnoticed, while others were gruesome beyond words. As a wave of murder overtook the city's elite, your dead deeds swelled in infamy. Well before the armies arrived, no one in the Bastard City felt safe in their homes, much less behind their walls. By the time Kyros' force crested the horizon, the city was fearful enough to throw open the gates and welcome their new protectors. The Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kyros' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumours of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into two fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kyros' conquest, either as judge and overseer of the settlement of Leviathan's Crossing, or as war advisors with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. We're going to be going to Apex. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Venderin, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer the apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, were tasked with bringing Kyros' law to the territory as well as keeping an eye on both armies. So we've got Denial of Strength, or the Battle of Enduring Pass. I think I'm going to do Denial of Strength this time. A school of water mages loyal to the Tiersmen posed a substantial threat. The disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus instead insisted on capturing the mages, wishing to learn of their craft. So the disfavored would have us side with the you sided with the disfavored. All mages had a chance to surrender before the war, and trying to capture the enemy would lead to the needless losses. Or you sided with the Scarlet Chorus, ordering the mages' elders taken alive for interrogation. We're gonna just destroy it. We're just gonna kill them off. You granted the disfavored the honor of killing the Tidecasters, as they call themselves, and Karen, Archon of Stone, was dispatched to lay waste to the mages. The nearly indestructible Archon slew the School of Champions in one glorious and bloody battle of magic. The Scarlet Chorus dispensed with any celebrations, observing that perhaps Karen should have left something alive for the Chorus allies to interrogate. So now we have Poisoning the Well, or a Captive Captain. We're going to go Poison the Well. Hoping to break the siege, Scarlet Chorus agents poisoned the Apex war supply in secret. Days later, uninformed disfavored scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the disfavored demanded that the Chorus agents be turned over to the realm for punishment. So you upheld the charges, ordering the Scarlet Chorus agents delivered to the disfavored. Justice would be served, but at the risk of seeding discontent between the two armies. Or, you denied the complaint. Tragedies happen in war, and the act was not targeted with intent at the disfavored. The reality was more honest than the satisfaction the disfavored so wanted. See, this is my problem. The Scarlet Chorus never, when it comes to war, they're too hoardy. They're not organized. I don't like disorganized people. So we'll do then. The Scarlet Chorus protested the sanction of a beloved military tradition. Within weeks of hauling wagons, filling graves, and digging latrines, the saboteurs fell sick themselves, dying of unattended wasting diseases likely picked up from moving putrid bodies. The disfavored called it a fitting justice, and congratulated themselves for squeezing some honest labour out of the miserable wretches. Pleased by your support, the disfavored battle plan, pleased by the support of the disfavored battle plan, the Archon of War selected you for a vital mission. To meet with the enemy and negotiate surrender, allowing Kyros' forces to declare victory and move forward onward. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the enemy? Through the days of mediation, you negotiated and planned the surrender of the valley to Kyros' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex to a duel and slew her, frightening her vassals' submission. And this is where I like the Scarlet Chorus, because that is most certainly what I did. The Scarlet Chorus urged you to show the Overlord's strength by any means necessary. During peace talks, a well-placed insult goaded the Queen of Apex into striking you. You responded to the slight by challenging her to a duel. Though the Queen was skilled in battle, your field experience outmatched her court training. As her body lay cooling on the ground, you demanded that her followers kneel before the Overlord's banner. Unable to rise above the fear of the moment, the remaining leaders capitulated, surrendering the valley to Kyros' forces. So now, the line of Apex finally rests in the hands of Kyros' forces. The Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in victory while the disfavored prepared for the next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kyros' armies radiated out from the conquered citadel and worked their way across the tiers. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus aimed to dominate as much territory as possible in the coming year. Your distinguished reputation in Kyros' military left the choice of your next destination yours to make. So we could go to Velium Citadel, Stalwart, or Azure. I think I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for the Velium Citadel. The Velium Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as the School of Ink and Quill, a circle of mages that, centuries ago, carved out their own mountainous refuge on lands unsettled by the other major realms. Legend said that the Citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord's spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. The time was ripe to send a detachment to the Great Library's fortress and force the scholars to yield to Kyros. So first two, we have Song of Ensnarement or Chain of Command. I'm going to go for Song of Ensnarement. Sirin, Archon of Song, used her powers to enthrall enemy mages who crept behind the Citadel walls. After Kyros' forces rounded up the arcane practitioners, the disfavored began executing the new captors before they could share their dangerous knowledge, a crime under Kyros' law with the Scarlet Chorus. You claimed the disfavored with a compromise. The sage's mouths would be bound with iron bridles, preventing them from speaking their forbidden knowledge. Or you punish the disfavored for executing mages bound to the Scarlet Chorus, ordering that several disfavored soldiers be given to the Archon of Song as their personal bodyguards. Nope. Yeah. As the disfavored fitted the sages with their restraining mask, the Scarlet Chorus openly criticized the suppression of enemy intelligence. You gave the soldiers a stern lesson on Kyros' laws and the sensitive treatment of forbidden knowledge. But that didn't stop the whispering and rumors that the conquest was being mismanaged. Next is the Spy Master's Agents, or Right of Command. I think we're going to do the Spy Master's Agent. A group of enemy mages surrendered to the disfavored, claiming to be spies loyal to the voices of Narat. No one in the army could verify the claim. The disfavored ready to interrogate the mages, but the Scarlet Chorus protested, demanding that the prisoners be given to their custody. They couldn't risk the voices of Narat's secrets falling into the wrong hands. Though it meant angering the Scarlet Chorus, the mages were disfavored property. They remained in custody while you reviewed their claims. You ignored the disfavored threats, sharply reminding them that they marched at Kyros' orders and that not their own whim. The mages were released into the custody of Yes. You took time poring over the mages' confiscated documents, finding no blatant message to the voices of Narat or anyone else. You resolved to question the mages yourself. When you reached their cells, you discovered their bodies, each of them soiled in the grisly display. Tense discussion and accusations followed, but no evidence to suggest a responsible party. You were forced to let the matter drop. Crestfallen by the preferential treatment you showed the disfavored, the Scarlet Chorus retreated deeper into the mountains, leaving your detachment with a skeleton crew. Tunon sent word that Kyros' patience had run thin. The Overlord would cast an edict of fire on the enemy. The parchment arrived in a slender case of engraved iron. Written on it, the words of a spell powerful enough to destroy the Velium Citadel. You have the choice when to read the edict. Reading it at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You could also wait till sunrise, giving them ample time to flee or make amends. Opting to give the enemy no quarter, you proclaim the edict of fire at the first moment of dawn, granting the enemy no warning to the destruction to come. Though the chorus insisted your actions doomed their spies, the disfavored applauded your decision. Claiming they still had spies from the Citadel, the Scarlet Chorus urged you to warn the mages of the Overlord's edict. Granting their request, you met with the enemy under a blue flag of peace and warned them of the doom, giving the chorus spies and the enemy a chance to run. You raided the edicts as the new sun rose behind the Citadel, casting a long shadow in its wake. You were the last person to see the Hall of Knowledge at the moment before the devastation. The earth shook and the red-orange light glowed in the foundation of the sprawling Citadel. Bubbling up from the library, a torrent of lava heaved with explosive force, gushing from the windows and between the loose bricks, melting hostile trenches in the surrounding land. The mages awoke to smoke and fire, for most of it is already too late. Only a handful of bewildered mages escaped the smoldering collapse of the massive library fortress. Kyros' will be done. The armies of Kyros left the devastation of the Velium Citadel in silence. From that day on, the Tearsmen came to know the once noble Citadel as the Burning Library. This was an undisputed loss of resources, knowledge, culture, and life, but a message had been sent. The Overlord will not tolerate defiance. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into the service once more. You were one of the last to depart from the mountains, and as you journeyed off, you spotted a few campfires in the mountains. They were mere specks dwarfed by the inferno. The last grasp of survivors, or perhaps looters from Kyros' armies, bored and daring enough to pick through the ashes. Conquest complete. You have reached the end of Kyros' conquest. Do you want to continue or erase your progress and start over? We'll continue. I am completely happy with that.
The year is 431, and Kyros' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kyros lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kyros have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kyros has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kyros backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kyros' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kyros' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Right. I'm probably just gonna read these out just because I mean, you know what, I'm probably not gonna read these out. I know most things, and we were given a few things. Now I'm gonna quickly just move that there. Swap that for that. How's that in comparison? Adds a little bit of recovery time. Now we're going to leave that off. I know that gives opportunist, but let's just quickly add these items there. Put that in there because that's pointless. Right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to unfortunately have to end this part here. Hope you guys will join me for the next part. I'll see you guys then.